I'm Sarah Froman. I am an account director on the SMB growth team at NBCUniversal. And, oh, thank you, I do need that. And what you need to take from that alphabet soup of a title is that I'm here to ask you guys questions as marketers to help unlock the power of NBCUniversal for your brands. And at the core of our ad product suite is, of course, our premium content. And of course, that is what we're here to talk to you about today. So you can see here from the wide variety of photos that are up on the screen that we have a massive breadth and depth of content that really makes NBCUniversal approachable for absolutely everyone, for absolutely every single interest, for every single passion. And of course, we don't want to grade our own homework, although I wish I could have done that in high school and college. We surveyed with a third-party partner to understand exactly what this passion, what our content really means to consumers. And what we learned is that almost 80% of consumers surveyed said that they love NBCUniversal. And like, I love chicken. I love, eat, whatever. Love is such a powerful word. And that, I can't believe I just said I love chicken. And that really goes to show that this love is passionate. It is this relationship that is a two-way street with our content and with our consumers. And then even further, we see that almost 90% of US adults are self-reported NBCU fans. Again, that is almost every single adult in the United States is saying, we love NBC. We are a fan of your people, of your content. We love you. But what does that matter for you guys as a room of marketers? Of course, your consumer hats are on and you're probably like, yeah, I've watched something from the NBCUniversal family. But what this means for you guys as marketers is that viewers who love NBCUniversal content versus viewers who are watching our competitors' content are moving the needle for your brands across the funnel in every way, shape, or form. So in the Kind breakout room with Tenuity and Kind, they talked a lot about how the top of the funnel can impact the middle of the funnel, can impact the bottom of the funnel, and how that flywheel effect really keeps sales going. That is what we are able to prove here. Whether it is an increase in attention, or it's an increase in favorability, or you're seeing increase in search behavior, which makes your search dollars work even harder. That is what connecting with our fandom, with our passion, with our content can do for your brands. And of course, it is all about meeting consumers where they are. We know in this world where there's fluidity between your big screen, between your iPad, between your phone, wherever you're consuming, it is all about bringing that fandom and that passion to consumers on the snap of a finger to make sure that they have access and that you are a reliable partner and you are a reliable source of entertainment, of news, of content. You name it, it is all about meeting consumers where they are. And they are literally everywhere. There's 3 very different shows, very different programs within our NBCUniversal family up here on the screen, which means 3 very different passionate audiences. And you can see, take The Voice, for example, which is a very, it epitomizes linear television in that it's a competition style. And if you miss it, you might ruin it via social or something thereafter, the big screen. So we see that this is really consumed primarily in a linear fashion on live and same day. Take Below Deck, which is more of an evergreen type of program, where we're seeing way more streaming come into play, because that is more about on demand. It's viewing when it's convenient for you. That's where we see those CTVs come into play. And then, of course, Saturday Night Live, a very, very, very different viewing experience where, of course, there's some full episode consumption, but that's where we really bring social video, short form clips, YouTube into play, where people are talking about the content, talking about the show from Saturday night, and really going in and consuming their favorite bits from the show. All of this is to say, consumption, there's infinite possibilities of how to combine all of these different screens, which can be really daunting for a marketer. And so in the spirit of asking questions, I'm going to assume one of your questions might be, how can I harness all of this in one place with one smooth experience? And that is NBCU One Platform. We bring scale and precision together with this fanatical passion for our content as the core foundation of every single decision that we make. It's really about delivering on this concept of and. Before, it was all about the or, where you could pick premium content or efficiency, targeting or scale. But now it's all about the and. We've been around for over a century, and we have the capabilities to combine all of your favorite marketing tools and tactics, whether it's targeting, it's commerce, it's data-driven initiatives. It's all about the and. Which means for you guys, in one takeaway, pretty little bow thing to remember, NBCUniversal's one platform brings you passionate fans and the unified solutions that you know and love. But while I would love the opportunity to pitch a room of marketers on NBCUniversal, I think our comms team might get pretty mad at me. So today I'm going to stay on theme, but I'll talk to you later. Today is all about the question. And when we think about the question, I think you've heard this theme from me throughout the last few minutes, where it's all about passions. What questions can you ask to uncover your passions? And there's two people here today who work at NBCUniversal who I am very passionate about. One of them is my boss. Hi, Brian. My boss, Brian Norris, and the other is Karamo Brown, who you guys might know. Yeah, moment for Karamo. Who you guys might know from his work with our e-news program, as well as his daytime talk show on NBC. So with that, let's bring their passionate energy to the stage for a question-filled conversation.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing?
All right. All right.
Hi.
So, good to see you.
Good to see you. I feel nervous. Got a lot of pressure there now.
Yeah, a lot of pressure following up Sarah. But, to kick it off, today's theme is clearly about asking the right questions to gain clarity. And so in a brief introduction, our special guest here is a reality television personality, author, actor, producer, and activist who knows what questions to ask to get to the core of the problem and give great, thoughtful, and genuine advice. So once again, join me in welcoming Karamo.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Now I feel bad, Brian. I should have an intro for you.
No, Sarah was great.
Okay,
Sarah was good.
Cool.
All right. So first of all, congratulations on the second season of your show, Karamo.
Thank you. It's the people like you who give us ad dollars, so I appreciate you. Thank you. It's because of you, so thank you.
That's great news. So, knowing on your show that you deal with a lot of hard-hitting topics.
Yes.
How do you navigate asking the right questions to the people that you're speaking with? And I think, following that up, when someone reveals something to you, how do you follow that up with a hard-hitting question to dive even deeper?
Thoughtfulness and empathy. I think one of the things that I try to teach people constantly, anywhere I'm at, is the idea of intention versus impact. This is not a new lesson for many of you, but some of you it is new. And it's about what is your intention when you're asking questions? What is your intention when you're doing anything? And then understanding that it may impact someone differently than you intended. And if you can understand that once you see the impact is not what you intended it to be, you must quickly pivot to something that's going to make the person feel as if you hear them, see them, and support them. And so for me, it's always like my intention is to only make sure people are feeling better, they're healing, they're growing, they're seeing themselves in a way they didn't see themselves before. But if I ask a hard-hitting question after that makes them feel uncomfortable, and I read body language. So, if y'all ever go on a speed date, just let me know. I can come with you. I can tell you somebody likes you immediately. Or if you go home to your husband or wife, and I'll let you know if they don't like you. But I watch body language quickly, and immediately I'll see if someone shifts, and I'm like, oh, I've impacted them in a way that made them uncomfortable.
Right.
And when people are uncomfortable, unfortunately, there's not a lot of growth. And for me, I want the growth, I want the growth in everything. I want the growth in people's feelings, emotions, minds, and the numbers of people watching and the dollars we get from you. I want the growth. I like the growth.
And thank you. Along that theme,
Of course.
About being uncomfortable, and we know there's no growth without a little bit of discomfort. How do you, what are some of the...
I disagree with that.
You disagree with that?
I disagree with that.
Really?
I think there's some antiquated ways we've been taught in this world. Like, there's something that my family used to say to me, and I hate it. It's going to go towards what you just said as well. Of like, sometimes you need tough love. Love should never be tough. Who told y'all love should be tough? I just want to let you know, if anybody else says that to y'all, y'all say Karamo told me love is not supposed to be tough. Okay? Immediately. And the same thing with growth. Why does growth have to be so uncomfortable? Why, like... I don't think it has to be uncomfortable, and I don't think that anything that we do in life has to be caveated with this sort of like thing that's bad or hard to make us feel like we're actually accomplishing. So, not to go off, but you know
what?
We're here, so let's.
I should have had you talk to my college football coach.
Seriously,
because those practices were hard.
Let me tell you
and we got better.
Those my football coach as well, like used to piss me off. I saw him the other day, by the way, and I cussed his ass out. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you why. I got hurt one time. Sorry, this is off topic. Sorry. We're gonna get it.
Yeah.
So I got hurt, and I remember like my knee, like the bone was like out like this, and he was like, "Brown, get up! You gotta get better, Brown." And I was like, and then this girl on the track team was running around, and she like scraped her knee, like, and everyone ran to her, especially him, and was like, "Baby, are you okay?" And I was like, "You muck." And I never forgot that, which has let me know, like, yes, I would have gotten up and wanted to play the game harder because I wanted to do it for my team. Yeah. I wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to accomplish something. But I didn't need his tough love or challenges to feel like I could grow. Like, I needed you to support me and love me there. Again, intention and impact. Just saying.
I feel like this can be an entire topic on the show.
I know. So. Don't get me started.
But simply put,
yes.
What are some of the tough questions that you ask yourself in order to unlock your passions?
Ooh, like, am I happy? You know, one of the things that my partner and I do every single day, and one of the things that I do with all of the people that make the Karamo show, when I meet people, is I say, "Are you happy?" Because I think we get into a routine of constantly being like, "Oh, I'm okay. Everything's okay. I'm fine." You know, you're with your partners, you're in work, and everything is okay. And okay doesn't define if you're happy. And I think that if we're talking about living and growing and wanting to be around people, happiness should be at the top of that list.
Right.
And if you find yourself not being happy, you should evaluate why. And so for me, that's a hard question I always ask, that like whether I'm, you know, in a situation where I have to be, I say, well, if I'm not happy here, is there ways that I can find happiness here? Because I think in all of our life, like how many years do we have on this earth? Lord, I want most of them to be happy. You know what I mean? Can I get an amen on that? Yeah. Thank you. And so it's a hard question I ask myself because we're not taught as a culture or society to truly want to make sure that we're all happy. It's about like, you know, how often does your boss say like, did you get that done? Are you working hard? Like, what are the numbers and these things? And it's like, sometimes you gotta be like, are you happy? Because the happier I am, baby, the work that I do is exceptional, okay?
Yeah.
You catch me on a day when I'm aggravated, you know, that work is affected.
And I'm sure that ties right into your passions, right? You have to be passionate
does.
about what you do, and it has to bring you joy.
Of course.
So, talking about your passions, how have they evolved throughout your life and your career? How have your passions evolved?
Well, my passions have always been to help people, but it started off unconventionally because I was nosy. And so the idea of helping people came from when I was in high school, this idea of like I could get out of class if I was a peer counselor. And I only did it because I was like, oh, I want to be in everybody's business. Like, what's going on in your world? Like, are you dating him still? Are you dating her still? And then as they were revealing stuff, I learned early on that I was like, oh, I enjoy this. I have a passion for knowing what's going on with you, but more so helping you to connect the dots of seeing what you deserve and how your life can be better and what you're worth. And I think, to go back to that question before about also like the hard question of happiness, another hard question I consistently ask myself is, what do I deserve? Because I don't think we ask ourselves those things a lot. You know, it comes to paychecks, we'll ask ourselves. But when it comes to our lives and we put up with certain routines that actually don't serve our souls, I say to myself, do I deserve this? And that's a hard question to ask, because sometimes when you realize that someone's not giving you what you deserve, you got to be able to shift. And shift can be uncomfortable, but I feel like it actually should make you happy that you're in a position to be able to shift. And so for me, those passions and that come from that idea.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And speaking about passions, you're an author.
Yeah.
Right? You have a book, a children's book.
I did.
I Am Okay to Feel.
Yes.
Right. Talk to me about what part your passions have played in launching your own brand.
Sure. So again, my brand has been established from the idea of like, what was it that I needed that I didn't have? What was it that I felt like I deserved that no one knew or had the capacity to give me as a child? And so I wrote a children's book with my son, actually. So my story to fatherhood is a little unconventional. Y'all got 2 minutes? Yeah, we're here. So we're here together. So I am openly gay for anybody who doesn't know. Diversity, hey, right? And so basically, I had a girlfriend who was my best friend when we were 15. She had a boyfriend, and she said she wanted to lose her virginity to her boyfriend. I said, go for it, girl. And then she said, can I practice on you? And I said, no, girl. And then somehow she convinced me like this would be a good idea. She moved away after we had a brief moment of love that really solidified me as a gay man. And then she moved away and I never saw her again. And then 10 years later, I got a stack of papers on my doorstep for back child support I know, right? Now you understand why I have my daytime talk show. Because I'm like, when people come to me with these stories, I'm like, girl, I've been there. I know what this is like. 10-year-old kid that I did not know existed. I actually, in the moment, thought I was being punked, and I thought Ashton Kutcher was in my house. He was not. And my child is really needing me to feed them and clothe them. But I, in that moment, I found my child. I got him, and I got custody of him within 6 months with the more support of his mother. Adopted his little brother, same mother, different father. So I became a father of 2 overnight at 26.
Wow.
And I remember, thanks. They saved my life. I love them. But I say that to say was with this children's book was when I wrote it with him, it was out of this idea that like, he came home one day and said to me, I wished I was somebody else. And it was a flippant comment that he said going into his room because he had a bad day, but it crushed me. Yeah. Because I thought to myself, how many times when I was younger did I wish, that I was someone else or that I had something else? And the idea of creating this book, I Am Okay to Feel, and my first book with him, which is I Am Perfectly Designed, was this idea of my passion is to let him know that you're okay just as you are. It's okay to feel your feelings, but know that those don't define you, that you can grow through feelings and you can have the life you wanted. And you should appreciate who you are, where you are, even if you're on a journey to get to somewhere else. And those books came out of that idea, which then leads into everything that I do in my brand. How can I make people understand these simple concepts so that way they walk away feeling better? Like that. The book was almost called one of my favorite things. I'm gonna have you turn to your neighbor. Any of y'all been to a black church? Yeah. You're about to get to one today. Yeah. Okay. So in the black church, we say turn to your neighbor, and then you repeat to what I say after you turn to your neighbor. Okay. So you're gonna turn to your neighbor and say neighbor. Neighbor. Y'all can do better than that, okay? I heard y'all out there talking. Yeah. Turn to your neighbor and say, neighbor. Neighbor. Comparison is the thief of joy. So I say that to say to y'all, remind yourself of that idea of like, don't compare yourself because you're stealing your own joy. It goes back to that happiness. And allow that to be what guides you daily. And that's what created the books, and that's what goes with my brand. Yeah.
That's great. I love it. And what I'm hearing a lot of is talking about you being true to your values. Yeah. And that being really the foundation of how you move. Yeah. And so you've worked with plenty of brands in the past. Yes. And I know it's important for them to be aligned with your values. What are some of the questions that you need answered by those brands in order for you to work with them?
Yeah, well, it starts with the people in this room. Like, anytime I meet a brand, whether it's from my own personal life or when they come to the show, I'm always like, where are you at? Like, how are you feeling? Because the way that, where your mindset is, of course it's a job, but I know all of you have been with a project that you feel passionate about. And that passion for me always excites me and lets me know, like, oh, we're going to be on the same page to accomplish the same goal. And I think then it's about, like, what is the intention of that brand, and like, why are they really going after this? Obviously it's easy that we all want, it's a consumer base, it's capitalism, we want that. But at the end of the day, I do believe there's some brand connections that happen that really can be authentic and really help people to be better. Like, you know, we are, I'm not going to say any names in here because I don't want to like offend anybody, but we have been speaking with a communications firm. And for me, communication is big. And my talk show, I don't talk to celebrities, I talk to everyday people. And I realize most of them don't know how to communicate. And I realized that with this communication brand, this is an opportunity to realize that just picking up a phone is more than just asking how you're doing or where you're at. It's actually you really speaking to someone's emotions and mental health. Right. And for me, that's what I'm speaking about constantly on my show. And so how do I get there? And when I talked to this brand, they were getting it. They were like, yeah, we look at these things that are in our pocket as just like, oh, these quick devices that we use, not realizing that we are so connected. And for most of us who feel alone at some point in our day or in our life, you don't have to feel that way if you truly understand how to communicate and how this device allows you to communicate and connect. Right. And for me, that's the deeper thing. That when I talk to brands, it's like, you get it. Yeah. You get it, you know? I understand that one 30-second commercial can't save the world, or it might, but it's nice when we all have the intention and hope and desire that it could.
Is there something specific that has stood out that a brand did exceptionally well during a pitch to you or in that initial or subsequent conversation?
Yeah, they saw me. They saw my identities. Mm-hmm. You know, my identities intersect. Like I am the proud son of immigrant parents, you know, so I'm first generation American, and I'm also grew up extremely poor. You know, I have wealth now, but that was for a long time, girl. You didn't have a coin, okay? You did not have a coin. And, first generation for my family to graduate from school. Like, these things were important to me. I'm also a proud gay man. I'm also a proud father. I'm also a proud Christian. And these things for a lot of brands, you know, there's like a lot of identities there, but those things are our audience. You know, we saw those beautiful photos of all the adults that love NBCU, and I speak to them directly daily, and it's because they have these intersections and identities. And when you can actually say, I see all of them, and not just this one thing, you know, like when a brand comes to me for like Pride Month, it's like, okay, girl, I got it. You got a rainbow in there. Perfect. Love it. Love it. Love it. I love a rainbow. But like, do you also understand that there's an intersection with that? There's some of us who are not wealthy, who don't have the privilege to be at Pride celebrations, who don't have the wealth to buy some of these things. And how do we still make your brand accessible to them, but letting them know, like, I see you and I understand the struggles. Understanding that some of those individuals who are maybe in homes of color might also have families who are religious and might not accept these things. How do we say we see you, but invite them into the brand? And so when brands do that with me, I'm like, oh, you'll do it with your audience.
Right. That's great. I love that. And so when you're working with these brands, right, and I'm sure you give them plenty of advice, for this room, what's the one question that you would advise a marketer to ask themselves when they are executing on a campaign? What would that one question be?
Are you open? I think that's the biggest thing, and I think that's not just a lesson for marketing or anything of that nature. I think it's for a lesson for your own life. How open are you to the world around you? How open are you to your own growth? How open are you to other people? I think that life has maybe shut a lot of us down. I know it has for me at times. Yeah. And that's the moment where I have to do the work to open that door back up. And it is hard, girl, I know. I've been there. But I think, especially if we're going to talk about the context of getting with someone, and telling them about your brand and like getting them to be inspired, and it's like, how open are you to what they're experiencing, and how open to you are like seeing more than what's just in front of you. And I think that starts with the own self-work. Right. You know, how open are you with yourself? It's a practice that I do daily. You know, I practice my self-esteem daily, and I practice my openness daily. Right. Because I think both are things that were not taught early on. And when I find myself getting closed off before I become that cantankerous 80-year-old man, I don't want to be. I want to be the happy one that walk in the room on my cane and be like, hey, y'all, we partying, you know? And so it starts with that openness. So I think that's a good question.
That's great. Is there someone in your life that is passionate, that inspires you?
Yeah, he's here. I bring him everywhere. His name is Trey Thomas. Hi, Trey. Stand up, Trey. So Trey is my best friend since I was 18. He's also the reason that he's given me I follow him. Like literally, he is a year older than me, and he's like, you would swear he was 10 years, because I like a puppy still to this day, because he just inspires me. And part of all these things that I have, of the kindness, openness, this desire to be better, I didn't have it in my household, because my father grew up in a household where he was taught that challenges made you stronger,
right,
that vulnerability made you weak. And so I didn't have any models of men until I met Trey. And so he inspired me. It's funny that you're here. I know that question was going to be there. I didn't see this question before. So, yeah, he's the one who told me, like, you can actually be passionate. You can actually be better. And you deserve this to be better. And you're also, in a sense, obligated. I take this obligation on to make sure other people know that as well.
Right.
That started with him.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Trey.
Yeah, thanks, best friend.
All right, as we close out our conversation.
We done?
We're almost there.
I was having fun.
We're almost there. We're almost there.
Okay.
What are 3 things that you're passionate about right now?
Ooh, my TV show, because it was a journey to get into season 2, because everyone has an idea, and finally, like, y'all know how it is with brands, clients. It's like everybody got an idea, and you're like, how do we get that all into one thing that will work for everybody? And so I've been really passionate about finding that thing, and we finally hit a groove. Numbers are great, people are great, ad dollars are great. We need more. Thanks, come on through. But I'm passionate about that. I'm really passionate about helping people always. That comes. Trey can tell you. I'm funny now that you know Trey. I have house parties all the time, and literally, it never fails. Somebody's in a corner with me crying, and it's not because I say anything. I'm just like, here, come on, I'm here, and it makes me feel good. People are always like, it's your party, you should be partying. I'm like, but this is good. This is nice. We just had a breakthrough. Now we go have a cocktail. And so I'm passionate about that, and I think the last thing I'm passionate about is just my own happiness and growth. And I don't feel selfish or egotistical or crazy for saying that out loud. I feel passionate about me being better and me being happy. And I think we should all be able to say that confidently.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Karamo, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This was great.
Fun.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
Brian, you come from my job.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. I'm following you?
Yeah.
Whoever did that, who was that? This is good. This is good. Following y'all?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's great.
Hey, how y'all doing?